This page from Berserk has no official color version. No guide, no palette, just the basic black and white. Traditional to what you see to any manga. So I took it on myself to bring it to life by redrawing and coloring it completely from scratch. I was inspired after scrolling my YouTube short feed and coming across some amazing artists who take manga volumes, pick a page and color it. I thought, instead of going out and buying the manga volume, I'm just going to redraw the whole page from scratch and color that version. I thought it would make it a little bit harder for myself and make it a bit more fun. Alright, so let's get into it. Why this page? It's not one of the big emotional climaxes in Berserk. It's not the eclipse. It's not a big boss battle. To be honest, I just thought it looked cool and clean. I wasn't super confident picking something out of the eclipse or the battle with Ganishka, so I just wanted to give myself a soft landing before I tackle those pages in the future. This is just a shot of Guts in the Berserker Armour. Crouched, bleeding, holding his sword. It hits visually. There's no dialogue, and it's all atmosphere. So that's what drew me into it. It just looked cool. No need to justify it more than that. But there was a catch. No official colored version exists. No anime adaptation of this moment. Nothing to copy. Which meant I had to color it blindly. No guide rails. Just my tools and my gut feeling. So, I started as always, with structure. To get the proportions right, I laid down a soft grid on my page. When drawing something as complex as Guts' Berserker Armour, accuracy matters. One of the plates out of place and the whole sort of form collapses. I used a 2H pencil to block in the pose, focusing on the silhouette and the bits that stood out immediately. Once I had the rough framework, I refined with a 2B pencil, building depth into the muscles, the folds of the cloak. Next came the inking. For this piece, I used, as always, a G pen and Deleta black ink. Trying to stay faithful to Miura's style, his line work in Berserk, I've said it in so many videos, is absolutely legendary. You don't just outline the character and add a few hatching lines for shadow. You sculpt them with this array of cross-hatching, contour, and different forms of pressure. One thing I did was keep the inking one-to-one to the original page, even blacking out the splatters of blood. I did this because I believed, with some good marker work, it wouldn't be an issue and would actually enhance the atmosphere of the piece. I focused on the helmet, the most iconic part of all the Berserker Armour. It's a skull fused with a beast jaw, which is known as the Beast of Darkness within Guts. Then I worked my way down to the torso plates and segmented limbs. What I love about Miura's inking is how it blends technical precision with raw emotion. You feel the metal through the texture. You feel the weight through the thickness of his strokes. I wanted to honor that with every line that I could. And now the real challenge, coloring this page, with no ideas what the colors should be. There's no official palette for the scene, no colored manga version, no anime frame to match. So how do you color something this iconic? Here's how I approached it. First thing I thought about was the mood. What does this moment feel like? It's heavy, oppressive, intense. It's not clean or bright. An artwork I did recently was the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 monochromatic color page. And one thing I loved about the Jujutsu Kaisen volume covers in general is how Gege Akutami creates these amazing spirals of just atmosphere. A lot of the time there won't be any direct background, no scenery, it'll just be a character surrounded by this swirling mass of cursed energy, which works amazingly for the manga, as cursed energy is the whole power system. When looking at a page like this, I was seeing no background and I was just thinking, okay, I'm gonna try and make this swirling sort of mass of chaos. What would work well? Red. So that was my approach. I was thinking about the mood. What does the mood feel like? It's heavy, It's oppressive, it's intense, it's not clean. Well, it is, the manga work is clean, but the scene itself is not clean and it's not bright. So I threw out any ideas of using blue or clean grades for the background. So I just picked red because it was darker, it was angrier. Then I moved on to the armor itself. I used layers of deep gray, almost black, and a touch of cool blue in the highlights. I wanted the armor to look like it was coated in shadow. This wasn't about realism, I guess. It was more of an emotional, me trying to capture the emotional spirit of the piece. So I want to break down some specific choices I made and why when it comes to the coloring. So as I said before, the background, blood red isn't subtle. It's aggressive on purpose. I wanted the whole page to feel soaked in that tension. The sword. Now, I was really debating this, whether just to keep it a grey hilt, but I decided to go with yellow because I think it pops off on the page. It looks really cool. And it's the only hint of like non-red or non-greys, non-blues on the page. I was like, oh, it looks sick. So we're going with yellow. Armor edges and blood. I try to use the white ink sparingly, and I've only used it on the biggest panel at the very bottom. I think I did use it a bit too much, but the result's still cool. So every color choice I made for this piece came down to the question, what feels cool? What feels right? Coloring without a reference is scary, especially with something as complex and as legendary as Berserk. You don't want to get it wrong, but when there's no official version, there's not really much room for error. There's only mood and style and personal interpretation. And the kind of feeling I got from this piece is amazing. I really enjoyed myself. It forces you to think differently. You can't rely on color theory alone. You have to feel the moment. You have to ask, what is this scene trying to say? And here it is, the final piece, side by side with the original panel. You can see how much the color shifts the mood. The black and white version is already powerful, but adding that red, that depth, turns up the tension even more for me. It's raw, it's chaotic, and I'm proud how it turned out. Especially considering I had nothing to base it on. This project taught me something I didn't expect. I've always been focused on getting better at technique. More accurate, anatomy, smoother blending, better proportions. But this time with no guide and no correct colors to chase, I just focused on feeling the piece. And it reminded me why I love doing this. When you're working with manga pages, especially ones as intense as Berserk, you're not just recreating a panel, you're kind of responding to it. You're stepping into another artist's world and adding your own voice. Kentaro Miura left behind a masterpiece. Every page of Berserk is overflowing with detail, texture, and soul. This redraw isn't meant to replace anything, it's just kind of a tribute, as always. A way to say, I see what you built, I want to understand it deeper, and I want to pass it on. And this is sort of a challenge I recommend everyone do. Pick a page that speaks to you. Don't look up any colors, don't try to be exact, just sort of respond and see what the panel feels like to you. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a comment below. Let me know what page I should redraw next. I stream on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So if you have some free time throughout the day, I'd love to hang out. If there's any manga you want me to redraw and review, please drop a comment below. Leave a like and subscribe as always. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.